everyone. Welcome to the show. Well, I'm going back the way I used to do the show before. Somebody suggested I do this little monologue. And the reason why is when I was doing this monologue, when it aired, for some reason, it was all kinds of wavy and stupid. So anyway, back to the way I used to do things.
Okay.
So now I'm very pleased to welcome to the show. Today's guest is Phill Bruce. Phill, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Nancy. Thanks for having me.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Now, you work for the BC Ambulance Service, correct?
That is correct, here in Chilliwack.
Right. And how long have you been doing that?
37 years now.
Oh, wow. That's a long time.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
So now, what you do now, is that the way you started working there, or has your job changed through the years?
Oh, it's incredible amounts of change. 37 years ago, there wasn't a lot of education involved with it. It was basically a basic first aid ticket. If you had a grade 12 education, that was good. And maybe a first aid ticket and a class 4 driver's license, you were hired. Things have changed over the years. As I tell my students, when I first started, the information I had to read was the size of a coloring book, and it came with crayons. So nowadays there's a ton of information to learn in such a short period of time, and they're very under a lot of stress, and we need more of them. And that's probably one of the reasons why I'm on your show, is to plead for more people to consider being a career as a paramedic. Oh,
I'm glad to hear that. And I, for one, I am so thankful that we have paramedics, because otherwise, I live in a seniors building that's like 55 plus. And
yeah.
Quite often there's an ambulance at my building,
Is that an independent, or you're in an independent care facility?
Yeah, it's a condo. I own my condo, right?
Right.
But again, it's 55 plus, and most of them well over the plus,
Yeah.
So if we didn't have people like you coming to pick us up, not everybody drives, not everybody has a partner that can take them. It would be really, really difficult. A lot of people might even pass away. So your job, what you did then, is so appreciative. And those that are doing it now, I think, and with COVID, it must have been even more stress on everybody, right?
Oh, yes, and then some. It's been really hard on a lot of the crews, and we're constantly dealing with PTSD and burnout and injuries and so on and so on. It's just short. Every day there's ambulances that could be filled that aren't filled. Right.
Yeah, for sure. I understand we need more people doing the job, but I don't know if they're paid well enough in that high stress position. There should be time off where you can just what is the word? Download all that problems and the stress that you deal with.
We have the government, and the government in power has made some kind of contribution in the last year or two, where when I first started, the percentage of part-time people who weren't paid well was in the 70 percentile range, and 30% were full-time. Now we're looking at almost a 60% are full-time and 40% are part-time. So we're moving towards that model, but again, it's a very expensive model, and our community is getting older, and it makes it harder. Like you say, the people in the 55 age range are more likely to have a medical issue.
Right.
So we're seeing them, that's 99% of our job is the elderly people over 55, 65. Yeah. On an average day, it's probably, I see people in their 80s and 90s, and that's all I see throughout the day.
Wow, that's a lot. Yeah. Now, one of the things you mentioned was you talked about your students.
Yeah.
So what is it you teach?
I teach paramedics at the Paramedic Academy, primary care paramedics, EMRs, and a whole bunch of other courses that are involved, mainly with BC the last few years, but I've also taught the Department of National Defense, our English-speaking paramedics, and every single one of them that was English-speaking, almost every single one of them was taught here in Chilliwack, BC.
Wow.
Over about a 15-year period between 2002 to 2016 or 17, we had a nice little contract with the federal government. So put a lot of paramedics through, and we actually had some that actually passed away that were involved in the war in Afghanistan. So
yeah, you mentioned in your bio that a number of them went to Afghanistan, right?
Yes, that's correct. Yeah.
I can't imagine what, if you think about the stress here.
Yes.
It must be compounded.
Yeah, mind-boggling to know what kind of stress you're under in places like that, whether there's roadside bombs and snipers. And I have a lot of respect for that organization, and I'm glad I had the privilege of teaching quite a few of them.
Yeah, good for you. I think that's great. You've taught students from all over Canada, right?
That's correct. I got Winnipeg and different places. Yeah, we've gone to, and we've had some that have come as far as Hong Kong to be taught by us here in New West is our main campus, and we do have a satellite campus out here in Chilliwack.
So how would they find out about it? Like the people in Hong Kong, how would they know about it here?
I think we were involved with them years ago, so we've had some contracts over the years, and I think they have at this point the Justice Institute has a contract with their police force too. So we will hopefully after this COVID is officially over, we might get to see them come back again.
Right.
Nice, and then it's unsure if we've got any other contracts beyond that. Sometimes some sprout up, and we have to go back to Hong Kong to teach them. I haven't personally been to Hong Kong myself, but I'm still full time, so I'm a little bit busy with working full time as well as working as a part-time teacher with the Paramedic Academy with the Justice Institute of British Columbia.
Right. Now, I know you're married and you have children, right?
Yes, that's correct.
So during this busy career, how do you manage everything? You have to, it's important, obviously, as a husband to spend time with your wife and your family, right?
Yeah. My wife is actually in healthcare, so she's in the lab, so I get to see her on a daily basis.
Nice.
Yeah, and I sneak over for lunch and have a coffee with her once in a while and go for a little visit and bring her something special. Yeah.
I'm going to tell on you. No, that's nice that you'll be able to do that. I think that's wonderful, right?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, her job in the lab, I imagine, is not as stressful.
Not as much, but she mainly works in ER, so she's fairly busy too. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. If she's in the ER, obviously, yeah, right. But it's interesting now. Were you both of you doing that when you met, or how did that come about?
Yeah, I pretty well met her. She was a manager at a KFC here in Chilliwack, and then we got together. We've been together for over 15 years now, and I have a stepson who's actually growing up. He's no longer 4 years old. He's got a mustache, and he's 21 years old. So,
well, congratulations on the length of your wedding. Your marriage. That's really good to hear, right? Now, apparently, you and I may have met.
I think we've met once, but not face to face. I think you were with Miss Stan Deven, I think, and you were at a meeting, and I think it was one of those meetings where we learn how to be better public speakers with Toastmasters.
Right. Yeah. I hope I would behave myself because I don't always.
That's okay. It's good to be open and outgoing.
Well, I like to have fun,
Yeah, and nothing wrong with that.
When I'm in stressful situations, I'm going to joke more because I'm uncomfortable in crowds and, stuff like that. So then I act up even more so. No, I know that we're just going to talk. I want to talk a little bit about you and your wife and some of your activities.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
What are some of the things that you do to relax?
Well, to relax, in this community, there's a lot of really good hiking trails. We tend to spend a lot more time every year, it seems like, hiking these beautiful trails around the Chilliwack area. And heck, it's free, right? Get out there and enjoy the sights and have a nice lunch. And we do a lot of that. And we do work out a little bit. I'm getting a little bit older, so I don't work out as much as I used to, or I should.
Right.
We have to have a lot of dinner parties. My wife, we're cross culture. She's a practicing Hindu, so she has a lot of Indian families, and they come over on a regular basis. And we have I'd say on a regular basis, 3 or 4 dinner parties a month. We have friends over, and yeah, we're very busy with that and exercise and keeping busy with my kids and whatever things they like to do. I hang out with them also.
Right. That sounds really, really good. I just switching back again to now that things are easing up a little bit with COVID. With the restrictions, how's it going for you and your position at work?
My position's good. Right now, I'm actually got a contract. I'm actually off call right now, and I'm actually doing some safety stuff within our organization and teaching. This last couple of weeks, we've been teaching our full-time fire department here in Chilliwack how to use a lot of our new equipment. We have some new high-end equipment like our stretchers, which are like worth $20,000 a piece, and with a rail that comes with it. So you could basically tell a 5-year-old to push the button and it could actually go up and into the back of the ambulance. So,
oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's worth about 40 grand, but it saves backs, and that's worth hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars worth.
Yeah.
By using the new stretchers. And we've got new computerized systems where when you bring in your PHN number from the back of your driver's license, there's what's called a QR code in the back. We actually send that by Wi-Fi and Bluetooth to the actual hospital. So within seconds, the information comes up, and by the time we arrive, it's already been put out. So you don't have to even have your card. So
Right. Wow, that's really nice. Look,
enter it in and send it out.
I mean, I'm glad that, it should be easy. It should be as easy as they could possibly make it for
Yes, we're getting better.
responders, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just wondering, like, through your career as when you were working ambulance or whatever, I hope, but I'm going to ask it, were you given a hard time ever by the people riding the ambulance?
You mean like patients or bystanders or?
Either or.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's I think we're recognizing what's unsafe more so than we did years ago. I mean, before it was okay to get into a little bit of a tussle, but we shouldn't be getting into a wrestling match with people. But it does happen. I have been threatened with my life, my family's life, my dog. Just goes on and on. I've been kicked, punched,
Wow.
even injected with something, right? So.
Oh my gosh, that must have been so scary.
Oh, it was. Emotionally, it was pretty scary. But again, it's a safety issue. We're considering that more so over the last 10 years, which is a good thing, right?
Yeah, yes. And here you are trying to help.
Yes. We're trying to help. Unusual situations, though. People are upset, or there's intoxication involved, or drugs and mental health issues. They all kind of come together too at some point, right?
And you're there, so you're the easy target, right?
Yeah. And not a lot of good things happen after midnight too, between midnight and 4 a.m. when we get calls.
Right. Yeah, for sure. Now, do you still do that? Are you still riding?
Once in a while I'll do that. I'm getting older because I'm so senior. I don't have to work graveyards, but right now I'm on light duty, and I've got all these projects I've got planned for fit testing people, and personal protective equipment has to be handed out, and then teaching and educating our people, as well as the last couple of weeks the fire department. I've been working on that too.
Right.
Then on my days off, I've always been a part-time educational instructor, so I work for the Paramedic Academy.
Very good. Now, how is it dealing with, what they talk about, is it fentanyl, whatever?
Fentanyl, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, it has gotten worse. There is no doubt about that. I mean, a lot of it's coming from China. It's being sent here. So I know everybody says it's this and it's that, but mainly it's coming by the tons. They got to figure out how to not get it into this country. And then, I mean, it's very cheap and inexpensive now. So that's why you're seeing prevalent out there. There's a lot of it. Yeah. Right. We were talking about it yesterday at work, and the important thing is the safety. I know everybody wants to get one of those Narcan kits, right?
Yes.
But really, it is about breathing. They have to actually breathe. I wouldn't want to ventilate somebody unless it's my family member, but you need to phone the ambulance and take care of it. There was some I think some gas stations downtown that actually wanted to get Narcan kits so their employees could actually give it. And I didn't think that was a good idea. I was on the safety committee for the city, and I told them what I thought about that. And if you've got family members, maybe that's okay to use a Narcan kit, but I don't think it's a good idea. You could actually poke yourself, and you don't want to catch anything, right?
Wow, that's for sure. Yeah.
Really important.
Yeah. Now, if somebody wanted to apply for a job working as a first responder or any of those positions that you were talking about, how would they go about it?
There is a couple courses you can take with the Paramedic Academy. There's what's called an EMR course, and it's only several weeks long, extremely intense. By the time all is said and done, it's probably about 6 months. 6 months to a year, you could be hired with BC Ambulance. You might not be able to work in Chilliwack right away, but that's changing because we're so short right now. Mm-hmm. From there, you get hired, and you could take the PCP course on your own, and you'll get hired. You'll get a higher wage, which would be good. And ironically, when I got hired, it was about 6 or 7 years to go to work part-time before you ever became full-time. Now you're looking at a year, under a year before you're actually going full-time. And that's just in the last year. We're just hiring so many people so quickly, right? Which is a good thing for the people that are hired. They're actually able to make a full-time wage. Yeah. And most of them do, even though they work in these small communities, they get what's called a call-out pay. There is enough pay if they work quite a few days to make a living. There are part-time employees that actually work more than I do and make way more money than I do too. So there's different options you have too.
Right. Okay. And we can only hope that people will keep signing up and keep
yes.
Right.
Yeah, you bet.
So that the load for, say, you as an individual is not as heavy.
Yes, that's correct. I hope so.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I just, again, another message to you, we need to put out to everybody, for you and everybody like you, is don't take things out on the first responders. They're only
Nope.
trying to help you.
They're pretty good. I love going to the elderly homes and visiting with people, and just like you say, small talk. Just we start that small talk and getting that interaction with somebody, and then creating that rapport with them. And the next time they meet you, have a good conversation and a couple jokes. And
Yeah.
sorry we have to meet this way, but I guess we're going to the hospital again.
And I know a lot of seniors, that they're by themselves, they so appreciate anybody speaking to them. Like, even though
Yeah.
you're coming to pick them up for the health reason, the fact that you're going to engage with them a little bit it
Yeah.
makes a big difference in their health, right?
Yeah. And when we're there, we're actually evaluating their living conditions too.
Mm.
Right? And we can pass that on to the hospital or a social worker, or even family members that might be living in Ontario. We'll actually give them a phone call and say, hey, mom's not doing so well. Maybe we need to have another family member get over here and figure out what's going on. But there's some issues. She's been in the hospital 2 times this week, and she's had another fall. Just letting you know, right? So we do look out. We're an advocate for our patients. Overall, it's been good. That's what's great about the job, is the appreciation we get from people like yourself, where you say, thank you very much for the things you do. We do appreciate that.
Awesome. Well, on that note, I just want to say to everybody, to the audience, like, remember, be kind to the first responders. They're doing the best they can under a stressful situation, and sign up if you're interested in being one of those people that helps other people. It feels so good to help others, whether you're paid for it or not, it still feels good. Thank you for watching the show, and I hope you enjoyed listening to Phill Bruce and hearing what he has to say, and encourage him to keep going on and doing his job.
Thank you, Small Talk. Thanks, Nancy.
Thank you, Bruce. Take care, everybody, and peace out.
Bye-bye.
A sense of community, Chilliwack's a place to be. A sense of community where you're free. Rolling through the mountains, rolling through the valley, rolling through paradise with me. It's multicultural, you're sure to see it all. Chilliwack's the place to be, you'll see. Come party in the park, go dancing after dark. Chilliwack's the place to be, you'll see.